If everything around you collapsed today, would you collapse with it? Most people think strength means never getting hurt. A Stoic knows the truth. Strength means getting hit by life and refusing to let life decide who you become. If you stay until the end, you'll discover timeless Stoic principles that can make you mentally unbreakable. And if you're ready to master yourself, subscribe to Stoic Ascension, leave a comment about the lesson that speaks to you most, and share this video with someone who needs it. Nothing can break you if you stop giving the outside world control over your inner world. Imagine an old oak tree standing on a lonely hill. Year after year, storms crash against it. Lightning strikes nearby. Winds bend its branches until they almost touch the ground. Yet when morning comes, the tree still stands. It doesn't argue with the storm. It doesn't beg the wind for mercy. It simply holds on to its roots. That is the image the Stoics wanted us to carry in our minds. Life will bring storms. People will disappoint you. Plans will fail. Money may disappear. Relationships may end. Your health may be tested. But none of these events have the power to destroy your character unless you hand them that power. The philosopher taught that the greatest fortress is a disciplined mind. A person who controls their thoughts cannot easily be defeated because they have learned that peace comes from within, not from circumstances. A young blacksmith once worked under a demanding master. Every day, the master criticized his work. The apprentice felt humiliated and thought about quitting. One evening an older craftsman told him, "The hammer isn't trying to destroy the steel. It is revealing its strength." Years later, that apprentice became the finest blacksmith in the village. Looking back, he realized the criticism that once felt unbearable had shaped him into someone capable of excellence. Life often feels like the hammer. But perhaps it is simply revealing what you are made of. When people insult you, they are offering you a choice. You can accept their words as truth, or you can recognize that another person's opinion is only noise unless you make it your identity. Imagine carrying a backpack. Every insult is a stone someone tries to place inside. Most people pick up every stone until the weight becomes unbearable. The Stoic simply smiles and leaves the stone on the ground. Not because they are weak. Because they understand that carrying unnecessary weight is a choice. There was once a traveler walking through a crowded marketplace. A stranger shouted insults at him, hoping for a fight. The traveler bowed politely and continued walking. His friend later asked, "Why didn't you answer him?" The traveler replied, "If someone offers you a gift and you refuse it, who still owns the gift?" The insult remained with the man who gave it. That is emotional freedom. One of the greatest lies we believe is that pain is the enemy. Pain is often the teacher we never asked for but desperately needed. A sculptor begins with a rough block of stone. Every strike of the chisel looks violent. Tiny pieces fall away. If the stone could speak, it might think it was being destroyed. Instead, it is becoming a masterpiece. Your hardships are chisels. They remove fear. They remove arrogance. They remove comfort that has made you weak. Eventually, they reveal someone stronger than the person you used to be. Think about the hardest season of your life. At the time, it probably felt unfair. Maybe you lost someone you loved. Maybe you failed when everyone expected you to succeed. Maybe you felt abandoned. Now ask yourself a different question. What qualities were born because of that experience? Patience? Wisdom? Compassion? Courage? Many of the greatest strengths we possess arrive wearing the disguise of suffering. The Stoics never prayed for easy lives. They prayed for stronger minds. There lived an elderly fisherman whose boat was destroyed during a violent storm. Neighbors assumed his life was over because fishing was his only source of income. Instead of complaining, he began repairing old boats for other fishermen. Months later, he earned more than he ever had at sea. The storm did not end his life. It redirected it. Sometimes the thing that feels like the end is quietly becoming the beginning. Nothing can break you if you stop demanding that life always goes your way. Reality owes us nothing. The sun rises whether we are happy or sad. Rain falls on the rich and the poor alike. Accepting reality is not surrender. It is clarity. The moment you stop arguing with reality, you save enormous amounts of energy. That energy can finally be used to improve your situation instead of resenting it. Imagine rowing against a powerful river. No matter how hard you struggle, exhaustion eventually wins. Now imagine turning your boat and using the current wisely. The river has not changed. Your relationship with it has. This is what acceptance looks like. A farmer planted seeds during a season of drought. Weeks passed with no rain. His neighbors mocked him for wasting effort. Yet he continued caring for the soil every morning. When rain finally arrived, only his field was prepared to receive it. Opportunity often favors those who continue preparing even when results are invisible. The Stoic works faithfully regardless of immediate rewards. Another lesson that makes you impossible to break is mastering your reactions. Events happen. Your reaction is your responsibility. This sounds simple until life tests you. Someone lies about you. A business fails. A friend betrays your trust. A stranger insults you. Your first emotion may arrive automatically. But your second response belongs to you. Between the event and the response exists a tiny space. Inside that space lives your freedom. The people who master that space become nearly impossible to control. A king once hired 2 servants. One panicked whenever problems appeared. The other paused, took a deep breath, and quietly searched for solutions. Years later, the calm servant became the king's chief advisor. Not because he faced fewer problems. Because problems never stole his judgment. Calm is a competitive advantage. In today's world, everyone reacts instantly. The Stoic responds deliberately. There is a profound difference. The strongest people are rarely the loudest. Mountains do not announce their greatness. The ocean does not brag about its depth. True strength has no need for applause. Imagine 2 candles. One burns brightly only when everyone is watching. The other quietly lights empty rooms where no audience exists. Which candle truly understands its purpose? Many people chase recognition more than excellence. The Stoic chases excellence even if nobody notices. Ironically, genuine respect often follows those who stop seeking it. A young musician played every evening in a quiet corner of the city. Few people stopped to listen. Years passed. His skill became extraordinary. Eventually, crowds gathered. When someone asked how he remained motivated during the lonely years, he answered, "I wasn't practicing for applause. I was practicing to become someone worthy of mastery." That mindset changes everything. Nothing can break someone who values growth more than validation. Fear is another prison. Most fears never happen. Yet they steal years from our lives. The Stoics practiced imagining challenges before they arrived. Not to become pessimistic. To become prepared. Imagine a soldier training before battle. He sweats during practice so he can remain calm during combat. Preparation transforms panic into confidence. A merchant once feared losing his wealth every single day. He barely slept. An older philosopher advised him to spend 1 week living simply. Eat plain food. Wear simple clothes. Walk instead of riding. After the week ended, the merchant smiled. He realized he could survive with far less than he imagined. His fear disappeared. Sometimes freedom begins when you discover you need less than you thought. Gratitude also makes you stronger. People often believe gratitude belongs only in moments of comfort. The Stoics practiced gratitude especially during hardship. Why? Because gratitude shifts attention from what is missing to what remains. Even during difficult seasons, something still exists. Your breath. Your mind. Another sunrise. Another opportunity. Another lesson. A prisoner once spent years isolated from society. Instead of counting what he had lost, he counted what remained. His imagination. His memories. His hope. These small treasures kept him mentally alive. The body may be trapped. The mind does not have to be. Nothing can break gratitude because gratitude refuses to surrender its vision. Comparison quietly destroys inner peace. Someone else always seems richer, smarter, more attractive, more successful. The race never ends. The Stoic competes only against yesterday's version of themselves. Imagine climbing a mountain. If you constantly stare at someone climbing another mountain, you'll miss your own path and eventually fall. Focus on your climb. Your pace. Your progress. That is enough. A gardener planted roses while his neighbor planted fruit trees. Each secretly wished for the other's garden. Years later, they realized both gardens were beautiful in different ways. Comparison had blinded them to their own blessings. Protect your attention. Where attention goes, your life follows. Patience is another form of strength. Modern culture worships speed. The Stoics respected endurance. A bamboo seed spends years growing roots underground before rising above the surface. People who see only the surface think growth happened overnight. They never witnessed the invisible work. Your unseen discipline matters. Every workout. Every book. Every quiet decision to stay calm. Every temptation resisted. Every promise kept. These invisible victories eventually become visible character. A stonecutter strikes a rock dozens of times without seeing a crack. Then suddenly, the stone splits. It was never the final strike alone. It was every strike before it. Do not underestimate consistent effort. Nothing can break persistent discipline. There was once an elderly woman who baked bread every morning before sunrise. For decades she repeated the same routine. When asked how she avoided boredom, she smiled. I am not repeating yesterday. I am honoring today. Greatness often hides inside ordinary habits performed with extraordinary consistency. The Stoics believed your habits build your destiny one quiet day at a time. Forgiveness is another unexpected source of strength. Holding hatred feels powerful at first. Eventually it becomes exhausting. Resentment is like drinking poison while expecting someone else to become sick. The Stoic forgives not because others deserve it, but because inner peace deserves protection. A traveler carried a sack of burning coals hoping to throw them at an enemy. Hours passed. His hands became blistered. Long before reaching the enemy, he had already injured himself. Anger often works the same way. Release it. Not for them. For yourself. Silence is powerful. Many battles disappear when you refuse to participate. Imagine a lake. Throw stones into it and waves appear. Leave it undisturbed and it reflects the sky perfectly. Your mind works the same way. Every unnecessary argument disturbs your inner clarity. Choose silence whenever words would only create more chaos. People may mistake silence for weakness. Eventually they discover it was self-control. And self-control is one of the rarest forms of power. There once was a judge famous for making wise decisions. Whenever angry people argued before him, he remained completely silent for several moments. One visitor asked why. The judge answered, silence gives wisdom enough time to arrive. Those extra moments changed countless lives. Your future depends less on what happens to you and more on the habits you choose today. Every sunrise offers another chance to become slightly stronger. Slightly calmer. Slightly wiser. Small improvements compound into extraordinary transformation. Imagine water flowing over stone. One drop seems insignificant. Millions of drops reshape mountains. Never underestimate the quiet power of daily effort. You are not defined by your worst mistake. You are not defined by your biggest failure. You are not defined by another person's opinion. You are defined by what you repeatedly choose after those moments. Every setback asks one question. Who will you become now? That answer belongs only to you. A young runner lost an important race by falling just before the finish line. Embarrassed, he considered giving up forever. His grandfather handed him a cracked clay cup. The old man said, "This cup still holds water despite its cracks. Why should you believe one fall means you can no longer carry your purpose?" The runner returned to training. Years later, he won championships. He kept the cracked cup on his shelf for the rest of his life as a reminder that imperfection never cancels purpose. Remember this whenever life feels overwhelming. You have survived every difficult day that once convinced you life was over. You are still here. Still breathing. Still learning. Still becoming. That alone is evidence of remarkable resilience. The Stoic path is not about becoming emotionless. It is about becoming unshakable. You will still feel sadness. You will still experience disappointment. You will still face uncertainty. But none of those experiences will own you. They will pass through your life without taking your identity with them. Like the mountain standing through every season, you remain rooted. Like the oak surviving every storm, you remain grounded. Like the blacksmith's steel growing stronger beneath the hammer, you become harder to break with every challenge. Nothing can break the person who refuses to surrender their character. Nothing can break the person who chooses wisdom over impulse. Nothing can break the person who treats hardship as training instead of punishment. Nothing can break the person who understands that true strength begins inside. So when tomorrow tests you, remember this moment. Stand tall. Breathe deeply. Respond with wisdom. Protect your peace. Guard your character. And keep moving forward, because every challenge you overcome is another brick in the fortress of your mind. And when the world tells you to become bitter, become wiser instead. There is a quiet strength that few people ever discover. It cannot be bought, borrowed, or inherited. It is earned in the moments when nobody is watching. It is built every time you choose discipline over comfort, patience over anger, and purpose over distraction. Imagine a lighthouse standing on a rocky coast. Day and night, waves crash against it. Storms surround it. Thick fog hides everything beyond a few feet. Yet the lighthouse never chases the waves. It never argues with the storm. It simply continues to shine. That is how a Stoic lives. Your job is not to control every storm. Your job is to keep your light burning. There was once a teacher whose students constantly tested his patience. Some laughed during lessons. Others ignored his advice. One day, a visitor asked why he never became angry. The teacher smiled and pointed to a candle on his desk. "Does this candle stop giving light because someone insults it?" The visitor shook his head. "Then why should I stop being who I choose to be because of someone else's behavior?" That answer stayed with the visitor for the rest of his life. Too many people allow others to decide their mood. One rude comment ruins an entire day. One failure destroys years of confidence. One rejection convinces them they are worthless. The Stoics refused to live this way. They understood that your value is not determined by applause or criticism. Gold remains gold whether it is praised or ignored. Your character remains valuable even when nobody recognizes it. Every challenge asks the same question. Will this experience make you weaker or wiser? The answer is never hidden inside the event. It is hidden inside your response. Picture two sailors caught in the same violent storm. One curses the sea and blames the wind. The other adjusts the sails and studies the waves. Both face the same storm. Only one reaches the shore. The difference was never the weather. The difference was the mindset. Life rewards those who adapt instead of complain. One of the greatest forms of freedom is learning to enjoy simplicity. Modern society constantly whispers that happiness is one purchase away. A bigger house. A newer phone. More followers. More attention. But the Stoics knew that the more your happiness depends on external things, the more fragile your happiness becomes. There lived an old man in a small village who owned very little. His home was simple. His clothes were worn. Yet everyone noticed that he smiled more than the wealthiest people around him. When asked why he always seemed peaceful, he answered, "I stopped counting what I don't have and started appreciating what I do." His wealth was invisible. It was contentment. And nobody could steal it. Nothing can break someone who has learned to be satisfied with enough. Another lesson the Stoics understood is that every difficult person becomes an opportunity to practice virtue. Think about the person who constantly annoys you. Perhaps they are arrogant. Perhaps they gossip. Perhaps they try to provoke you. Instead of asking, "Why are they like this?" ask, "What quality can I strengthen because they exist?" Patience. Self-control. Compassion. Discipline. Your enemies often become your greatest teachers without realizing it. A warrior once trained with heavy wooden swords instead of sharp steel. People laughed at him. But when real battle came, his ordinary sword felt incredibly light. Likewise, difficult people train your emotional muscles. If you remain calm around chaos, ordinary life becomes much easier. The Stoics also believed that death should not be feared but remembered. Not because life is meaningless. Because life becomes more meaningful when you remember it is temporary. Imagine receiving a letter telling you that you have only 1 year left to live. Would you waste hours arguing online? Would you spend weeks worrying about someone else's opinion? Would you postpone your dreams again? Probably not. You would begin living with urgency. The Stoics carried this awareness every day. Not to become afraid, but to become awake. Every sunrise is a gift. Every conversation could be your last. Every act of kindness matters. Every moment deserves your full attention. A father once promised his daughter that he would always make time for her. Years passed, and work became his excuse. "I'll play tomorrow. We'll go next week. Maybe next month." Then one day he realized she had grown up. The little girl who once waited excitedly at the door no longer asked. Time had quietly done what no enemy could. It had taken away opportunities that would never return. Do not wait for the perfect moment. Life is happening now. If there is someone you love, tell them. If there is a dream inside you, begin. If there is forgiveness to give, give it. The future is never guaranteed. Only this moment truly belongs to you. As we come to the end of this journey, remember one final truth. You are far stronger than you think. Every scar you carry tells a story of survival. Every disappointment taught a lesson. Every obstacle built another layer of resilience. The person you are becoming is being shaped by every challenge you refuse to let defeat you. One day, someone else will look at your calmness during a difficult season and wonder how you stayed so strong. They won't see the nights you doubted yourself. They won't see the failures that taught you resilience. They won't see the countless moments you chose discipline over despair. But you will know. And that knowledge will be enough. Walk through life with quiet confidence. Not because you believe nothing bad will happen. But because you know that whatever happens, you have the strength to face it. The storm may shake the trees. It may darken the sky. It may test every part of you. But remember this. Storms do not last forever. Character does. So keep your mind steady. Keep your heart humble. Keep your actions honorable. And no matter what life places in your path, never forget this timeless Stoic truth. Nothing can break a person who has mastered themselves. Before you leave, carry this thought with you. Years from now, people may forget your achievements. They may forget the money you earned. They may even forget the words you spoke. But they will never forget how you carried yourself when life became difficult. Anyone can smile when everything is going well. Anyone can appear confident when success comes easily. The true measure of a person is revealed when the path disappears, when hope feels distant, and when every reason to quit stands directly in front of them. That is where the Stoic rises. There was once a stone bridge that connected two villages. Every day, thousands of people crossed it. Children ran across it. Merchants loaded it with heavy carts. Travelers walked over it without giving it a second thought. Year after year, storms flooded the river below. The winds battered the bridge. The scorching sun cracked its surface. Still, it remained. No one praised the bridge for holding firm. It simply continued doing what it was built to do. Be like that bridge. Do not seek recognition for your strength. Become so dependable that your character speaks louder than your words. There will be mornings when motivation disappears. On those days, do not rely on feelings. Rely on discipline. Feelings change like the weather. Discipline becomes your compass. A farmer does not stop planting because he doesn't feel inspired. A musician does not stop practicing because the mood is gone. A craftsman does not abandon his work because the task has become difficult. They continue. Not because it is easy. Because consistency creates greatness. The Stoics understood something modern society often forgets. Freedom is not doing whatever you want. Freedom is becoming the kind of person who controls what they want. If anger controls you, you are not free. If comfort controls you, you are not free. If fear controls you, you are not free. Real freedom begins the moment your principles become stronger than your impulses. Imagine a rider on a powerful horse. Without training, the horse runs wherever it pleases. It chases every distraction. It fears every loud sound. It refuses every command. But with patience and discipline, horse and rider move as one. Your mind is the same. Train it daily. Guide it gently. Correct it consistently. Over time, it becomes your greatest ally instead of your greatest obstacle. Never underestimate the power of a peaceful mind. A peaceful mind notices opportunities where others see only problems. A peaceful mind hears criticism without losing confidence. A peaceful mind remains hopeful while others surrender to despair. That kind of peace cannot be purchased. It must be practiced. Every day offers another opportunity. Another chance to respond with wisdom. Another chance to forgive. Another chance to improve. Another chance to become the person your future self will thank you for becoming. Do not chase perfection. Chase progress. Some days you will move forward with confidence. Other days you will crawl. Keep moving anyway. The mountain does not care how quickly you climb. It only rewards those who refuse to stop climbing. One day, without even realizing it, you'll notice something remarkable. The things that once made you anxious no longer disturb you. The insults that once hurt now sound empty. The setbacks that once seemed unbearable become ordinary challenges. The fears that once controlled your decisions begin to lose their power. You won't become unbreakable overnight. You'll become unbreakable one decision at a time. One disciplined morning. One calm response. One forgiven mistake. One courageous step. One quiet victory that nobody else sees. And those unseen victories will eventually shape a life that no hardship can destroy. So whenever life whispers, "You can't handle this," answer with action instead of argument. Stand up. Take the next step. Breathe deeply. Stay true to your values. Because every challenge you survive becomes proof that you are stronger than the one before it. Remember this whenever doubt enters your mind. You have overcome challenges you once believed would defeat you forever. You survived days you thought you would never survive. You found strength you never knew existed. That same strength is still within you today. Protect it. Strengthen it. Live by it. And no matter what tomorrow brings, carry yourself with the quiet confidence of someone who knows that while circumstances may change, character endures. Thank you for spending this time with Stoic Ascension. If this message inspired you, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with someone who needs encouragement today. Leave a comment below with the words, "Nothing can break me," if you're committed to building an unshakable mind. And if you haven't already, subscribe to Stoic Ascension for more powerful Stoic wisdom to help you live with courage, discipline, resilience, and inner peace. Until our next journey together, remember. The strongest walls are not built from stone. The strongest fortress is the mind that refuses to surrender.